Hello everyone. So we're going to talk today all about the concept of it's not good enough or is it good enough and that stuff. So I'm Corinne Crabtree from fitandfat.com or pnptribe.com. I lost 100 pounds 12 years ago and now I help other women do the same thing. So let's talk about, I think, one of the most fatal flaws that most of us have when we're trying to lose weight. So, I come from the approach of people who need to lose a lot of weight. Like I lost 100, most of my clients have a lot of weight to lose. And I catch this thought that comes out all the time and it comes out like throughout weight loss. So this is not just this is my first time at the rodeo trying to lose weight kind of thing. It is that idea that what I'm doing is just not good enough. Well, this is not good enough. This is, if I just walk today, if I only leave a few bites, if I only do these things, it's not good enough. It is such like a way to cut the knees out from underneath you when you are losing weight. And I am not just talking to the people who have 100 pounds. If you have 10 pounds to lose, so many of us shit all over any progress we can make because we have judgments that we put on ourselves around our habits. So one of the things that I've been just studying like a crazy person here lately on, and it's the concept of mini habits, micro habits. Let me turn this just a little bit. I can't stand seeing the glare in my eyes. It's the concept of all the little things that actually matter that we all discount. So if you have been, hey Holly, if you've been following me for any amount of time, or if you're one of my tribe members, you know that, and I think this is funny because I've actually been listening to this book. This guy is talking about all the crap that I have been talking about for years, which is when I got started, I knew in my gut that there was no way in hell that I was going to be able to start another complete overhaul of my life. I had done that so many times and had just screwed myself royally that when I hit my bottom that last time, one of the things I remember clearly thinking was that I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out. And whatever it is, I got to know in my gut that I will do this again tomorrow. I knew I had failed so many times at trying to do everything, and then I would quit, and then I would regain a bunch of weight, or I would never lose it, or I wouldn't even make it till freaking Wednesday. I can't even tell you how many times I would start up on Monday and not even make it until Wednesday. And it was a lot of the idea that, it was either all or it was nothing's good enough. It was just, so I just knew, I literally remember sitting there and thinking, you do not have time to fuck around with shitty thoughts like what you're doing doesn't count. That has only screwed you in the past, so you need to give that shit up now. I really made a list of, here's all the crappy shit you think, and we're not going to do that anymore. And it wasn't even the crappy stuff I was thinking about myself, because trust me, when you have 100 pounds to lose, you're not going to wake up the next day and be like, oh, you're so sexy, you deserve all this. All of that didn't change. It was the thoughts around my behaviors that I started changing. I knew what I could not afford to think anymore. I knew that every time that I put judgment on any small step I made, that was one step in the direction of quitting one more time. And I remember thinking, you cannot afford to quit. That is the one thing we can't do. And if you can't afford to quit, here's what you can't do. You can't set yourself up by failure by promising yourself you're going to do a bunch of shit that you weren't willing to do today. I can't tell you how many times I have people that email me, I have friends, I have clients who will come back to me with this idea that what they're doing is not good enough. I'm like, honey, you were doing nothing yesterday. So if you're willing to drink water today, if you're willing to roll your ass up out of bed, let's just explore this for a second. Let's pretend that you want to be someone who becomes a exerciser in the morning, right? but your ass loves the bed. Like, don't like getting up, it's cold, it's dark out, you know, just you got like a million reasons why you're not gonna get out of bed. In the beginning, rather than getting out of bed and planning like a boot camp at 5 a.m. when you're going from no camp at 5 a.m., then I would like say, okay, for like 2 weeks, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get used to getting up at 5 a.m. I don't care if the most amount of movement I do is walking my ass to a coffee maker. I will at least train myself to get out of the bed and quit laying on my back. I can go sit on my ass, but I cannot lay on my back in the bed. That is what we call like mini habits. That's where I started with all of my stuff. I was just like, what can I minimally do? Where can I start committing and practicing being committed? Didn't matter if it was good enough. I was like, we're not thinking about that right now. All we're doing was thinking about how the hell do we start showing up for ourselves? Because I knew like in my heart, and I know in like for all of you, for every one of you, if you get out of your way and you start deciding that you're going to practice just showing up for yourself and being committed first, without conditions, without judgments, like, and your brain will want to go there. You are going to want to say that nothing you were doing is good enough. And you just have to be like, fuck that. It's good enough. Like today it is. You know, in about 10 months when I've been doing all this other shit, I'm going to look back on this day and know that this was the day I changed my life, because this was the day I quit shitting on myself. Like, I was saying this, I don't know if I wrote this the other day or I don't know, I write a lot of stuff. And so I was saying I would give anything if I had have written down the day that I decided to take a walk. That day was the day it all changed. I am sure there was a big piece of me that just didn't think that that was going to happen. So I didn't bother writing it down. And now I tell people all the time, like, learn from my mistake. Because I'd give anything to have captured what I really felt like and what day it was and all of it so that I could use that for you guys. But that's the thing. I had no clue, and you won't either. You will never know when your day is where it just starts working, because you've either heard enough of this bullshit that I say, seen enough from other people or whatever. I mean, it's that important. Can you believe I'm not even on my period? Just crying for no reason today, y'all. But seriously, it's, we have to quit thinking that the things we do just aren't good enough. We have to start believing that every little step forward is a step forward. It doesn't need to be crapped on. It doesn't need to be dismissed. And I will say, the majority of us, the reason why we shit on our little things is absolutely because we're so afraid we're going to have to up the ante on ourselves. Let yourself naturally up the ante. I tell y'all, if you take my free course, you hear this in the videos. When it comes, like the very first video is all about how to commit. It is this stuff, right? Here's the thing. When you practice doing the little things, there's a piece of, that's where your like motivation and your momentum start building. Those two things can only build when you start doing stuff. And you have to start doing stuff when you don't believe it, when you absolutely don't feel like it, and when it's like, but. So that's why, for all of us who have struggled with weight, I think it's really important that we practice committing to small things, that we practice committing to the things we know we can keep doing. And then we feel a little better about ourselves. Then we're willing to ask a little bit more of ourselves. And it just snowballs. This is exactly how it happened for me for 18 months. I swear to God, when I was 250, laying on the couch crying, looking at my son thinking that I was the world's worst mother, I never thought that I would teach other women how to lose weight for 10 years. I never thought, I've got several success stories. Watching this right now, who've lost all kinds of weight. I would have never thought that I would be doing, well, we didn't have Facebook back then, but I never would have thought that I would be talking to women about weight loss. I never thought that I would run nearly 60 half marathons, 5 marathons, 7 Tough Mudders, triathlons. Like, I never even played sports in school. Ever. Well, I did play volleyball for a hot second, but I was so overweight in volleyball that my shorts rode up so much, and our team colors were green and white. So there's nothing like a 210 8th grader wearing white shorts riding up her crotch. And I would have to be sit on the bench because I knew that my thighs were going to rub together and everybody was going to see me. There's my athletic history. And then when I started losing weight, I had a good friend who encouraged me to start moving. And she would go with me. She was a big time runner. And there I was doing a 52-minute 5K. And she could do them under 30. And she'd wait for me. And I just never, I quit indulging in the idea that anything I was doing was no longer not good enough. I let myself just believe everything you do is good enough. Everything you do, you're going to build upon it. But you got to get good at this before you can get good at the next thing. And that is what, seriously, I think we all want weight loss to be keto, low carb, a shake, a diet, a pill, a shot. I don't know. All the bullshit that's out there that you guys are fixing to get bombarded with it. Bombarded with that stuff. Me included. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not, some diet person on the internet. I'm one of them. But I'm not selling you that stuff. I'm selling the stuff that ain't sexy. Learning how to cry. A lot of my girls are like, God, join the tribe, and I cry all the time now. It's because I'm not eating through my pain. I'm learning how to express it. I'm learning how to live with my emotions and not stuff my emotions. And you guys are fixing to see all kinds of New Year's promises and, just overhauls and all this other stuff. And I'm just saying, whatever you do, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. Am I likely to keep doing it 100%? If it's not something you can see yourself doing at 60 or 70, think twice before you sign up. I tell my girls all the time, I think we all think we're going to lose our weight and be happy, or that, once we get to be 60, we're not going to care anymore. I'm like, hell, I work with women who are in their 60s all the damn time. They fucking care about how they look. They care about their health. They care about their mobility. They care about everything. I can promise you that when this ass is 70 and 80, I'm still going to be wanting to look good. I want to be that 80-year-old by the pool that the young kids like because that old lady's so funny. But man, she got a good body for 80. That's who I want to be. And I'm not going to get there, be able to make it there doing crazy bullshit. I want to know how to live my life. And so anyway, I just want you guys to really think about that concept of good enough. Every small thing you do does matter. If you're leaving too back, let's just go over a few of the small things. They're the mini habits. It is learning how to get up in the morning. If the only time you can work out is early in the morning, before you become a morning workout person, you have to learn how to get up in the morning. Start with getting up first. Then layer in just you know what, now that I've gotten used to getting up and I actually will drink my coffee, I'll do some squats. I'll walk around a little bit. Even if you have to walk in your house, whatever it is, you just start building that. Drinking a glass of water every morning when you wake up. If you are not a water drinker, tomorrow don't go and buy a gallon jug and then be like, well, this is defeating. Start with 1 glass a day. And then add one in a few days with your lunch. Just plug some stuff in. Same thing, if you don't like fruits and vegetables, you do not have to throw every piece of junk out of your house tomorrow. One of the best tips I heard lately, I thought was genius, was this guy was talking about going to the grocery store and go ahead and buy everything you normally would. And then each week, take one thing that's in that cart that you can make a better substitute for, put it back and get the substitute and work that in. And then every week do the same thing. If we all did that, can you imagine what our shopping cart would look like in 6 months? It would be an Amazeballs shopping cart. But we all try to start out on January 1 with the Amazeballs shopping cart and wonder why January 15th we're right back to Ding Dongs and Doritos. So just start with some of the small things. Take a look at all that you have and then just pick one or two. Pick the one thing you know. Don't overhaul it all overnight. Your brain will not want to do that. It will fight you tooth and nail. It will think that you are a crazy person and it will talk you out of it. If you start with the little things, your brain feels like it can accomplish that. Your brain won't bitch as hard. None of us need a bitchy ass brain. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about. While I'm trying to find comments, if you are new to me, I'm Corinne from Fit and Fat. You can take my free course at pnp411.com. It's got some videos and a workbook. Hey, Patty. She says, hi, y'all. I'm new to hearing PNP and obsessed. Got lots of tribe. Hey, Julie. Got a lot of tribe members. The other thing, too, is if you're new to me, I have a podcast. So if you like this ranting shit, then you will love the podcast. It's called Losing 100 Pounds with Fit and Fat. So Patty wants to know, how is everyone planning to succeed on Christmas and the holidays? I'll tell you one of the things. I taught a masterclass webinar a few weeks ago, and my girls have it, and it was like how to make sure your jeans fit for the holidays. The best tips I have for you guys is, number one, I want you to make sure that you just think ahead. Just think ahead about what you're going to do. Think about, it's a meal. If you're going to go to your mom's, think about having that one meal. It doesn't have to be, just because you're going out of town doesn't mean it has to be an all-day cookie fest. Just visualize in your brain that you're going to not stand around the junk food all day long. Especially, I was coaching one of my tribe members. Her mama, she's like, my mother and I, we just bicker. She just, she presses all my buttons. I'm like, girl, she ain't got no buttons to press unless you're letting her. The biggest thing, though, is if you're not ready to manage your mind around people, then don't stand around food trying to manage your mind around people. Because what will happen is you will eat yourself through the management. Walk your ass out of the room. Keep that water planted firmly in your hand. Do not stand, just think about the typical things that get you into trouble. One of my clients today, she posted, it wasn't you, Shannon, it was somebody else. Ooh, I gotta go get that. That's my son's Christmas present. Hang on. My husband said, make sure I answer that damn door. And I knew it would come while we're doing lives. One of the things that I was telling them, she was saying that she has a commitment where she doesn't eat in her car. And, hang on one second. Hello, UPS.
Got one for you that I need a signature on.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Okay, so Mr. Logan's getting a new iPad for Christmas. Sorry about that. If I didn't answer that, then my husband would have been kicking my ass when he got home. So she doesn't eat in the car, and she doesn't eat, that's what, we all have these things called our unbreakable standards that we set in PNP. And one of hers is she doesn't eat in the car anymore. And then her other one was that, gosh, it was either that she doesn't snack. No, she doesn't do snacks and she doesn't eat in the car or something like that. I can't remember what the other one was, but it was I've got this 8-hour drive and this is going to suck some ass because I think I'm going to be really hungry. And one of the other girls came in and said, just pack your cooler, and when you guys stop, you eat outside the car and you don't snack. You just pack a meal. She's like, and it's 8 hours. So eat before you go, 4 hours in, eat when you get there. Boom, done. We're like, problem solved. And so everybody felt better. So that's one of the things. You think about what are the things that are going to happen over your holidays. The other thing is just eat till satisfied. Guys, if you just have what you want, if you're one of my girls, you're planning. But if you are just, oh my God, Corinne, I don't want to gain 5 pounds this week. The best thing you can do is everywhere you go, And this comes back to that good enough rule. A lot of you are like, oh, it's not good enough. I need to be doing this. No, all you need to do is don't stuff yourself. Like every time you eat, think about, I'm always going to leave. Like let's say you have a cookie. I don't eat the whole cookie. I eat everything but a bite. If you have a plate of food, I don't stuff myself. If I start feeling the slight bit full, I know it's time to stop. Or I make a plate and I know I'm always going to leave a third, or I'm always going to leave a quarter, or I'm always going to leave 3 bites. Whatever you can agree to doing, you do that. That's what you do to get through the holidays. You don't skimp on your water. And please, for God's sakes, do not skip meals thinking that you're going to have the big one and that's going to do you better. It never does you better, ever. That's like the worst thing to do. It teaches you to overfill when you have restricted. That's not a brain process we want to practice, ladies, ever. So go ahead and eat your regular meals. And that's how I would be surviving the holidays. Let's see. Ruth says, I'm making small steps daily in order to get through the holidays and go balls to the wall December 26th. Well, and that's the other thing, Ruth. You don't have to go balls to the wall on the 26th either. You just continue making the small steps, right? By the 26th, those small steps are going to add up to a lot. You're probably going to feel like you can tackle on more. But don't fall into the trap of, on a certain day, all of a sudden, my life is going to change dramatically. Our brains just don't like that. And here's the thing. Your brain has lots of habits that it has ingrained. Some work for us, some don't. A lot of them don't when it comes to our weight, if we have weight to lose. When you try to change it all at one time, like your brain literally freaks the fuck out. Like it just goes, like, and it's not going to handle it, and it's going to argue, and everything will feel tremendously harder. And it's a lot easier to give up on everything rather than continuing. If you're already layering in small steps and that's working for you, Ruth, why change it? Why not just keep on layering the small steps right on after that? You'll keep building momentum and you'll have success. I promise. Let's see. Julie, I usually walk 25 minutes from work to my parking Monday through Friday, and then I go on my treadmill Saturday and Sunday for about 30 minutes, and it's still not good enough. It is good enough. Hey, Julie, the only thing you need to do is just quit saying that. Like, seriously. When your brain wants to say that's not good enough, say, yeah, it is. Moving on. Just because you think it, guys, just because you think something doesn't mean you automatically have to believe it. The second you decide to start adding something else onto the end of it is the second you start changing the belief systems that you have about yourself. Sarah, I had to be really honest with myself about what I knew I would struggle with. Oops. And hang on, I gotta put my glasses on. And plan what I was going to do to handle it. I had to also be honest about what I was willing to do forever to be successful. I think that's true. Like that is what worked for me. I had to get super honest with myself about what I was willing to do, what I would be committed to doing. Because guys, what we're absolutely committed to doing and what we think is good enough usually is nothing alike. They just don't mirror each other. They don't get to where they mirror each other, like the committed and the, like, let's use Ruth's example of balls to the wall. Those two things usually don't mirror each other until you've had a lot of commitment built up. Commitment is a skill. It is a skill set that you build to yourself. And you can only build it by following through on the things you say you will do. If you're plugging in not good enough in there, you're going to erode your commitment skill over time. Let's see. Oh, people are crying with me. Sorry, I don't know what got into me. Patty, besides PNP, what are your guys' favorite podcasts to listen to for health and losing weight? I love the Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. Oh, I'm talking into my phone. I was like, where's my phone? I'll like list them off. For health and losing, this isn't really for health, but I love the podcast no less, I love the Brendan Show. I also like, what's the other one I listen to? Well, I love my mentor's podcast, The Life Coach School. If you listen to her, it's Brooke Castillo. That one's really good. Real Weight Loss for Real Women with Cookie Rosenblum is pretty good. I enjoy that one. And if you're a drinker, now one of my peers, she has a really good podcast that I like, and it's geared towards drinking, but her concept, like she and I went to the same, like we're the same master coach level. Like we went through the same training together. All of her principles just insert weight loss, and it's called the Take a Break with Rachel Hart, H-A-R-T. It's really good also. Those are some of my favorite podcasts. I listen to those a lot. And then I listen to a lot of business podcasts. I listen to a butt ton of motivational ones. Like I love all the motivational stuff and stuff like that. And there was a new one that I was listening to the other day that was really good. I wish Emily was on here. She could tell me. But it was the Primal something. I forget the name of it. If one of my girls is in here and you know what I'm talking about, it's Primal something. And I think she does the Primal diet, but I actually just like her mentality. Oh, and Half Size Me is really good too. I've actually been on her podcast, and I really like it. Let's see. How do I know what's always going on in your head? Cindy, I just do. That's because I stalk my tribe members. Let's see. You have such good support, running friend and husband. I believe that makes a big difference. What do you recommend if we don't have the support other than PNP? I thought about joining a walking club. I think looking for some stuff locally. Now, my running friend, that was way back in the day. Like, she and I meet together like twice a year now. I mean, we text sometimes. A lot of, like I have, seriously, I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but when it comes to local support, I don't ever work out with other people. I just don't have anyone that I like. My co-host my podcast, she works out at night. I work out in the day. Like I have to work out in the mornings. My husband, yeah, right. Like there's no getting busy with the Krabby in the garage. He's not an enthusiast, and he eats very different than I do. I've never made my boys eat the way that I like to eat. I don't believe in that. I think everybody has free will and choice on what they eat. So a lot of it is thinking, I think a support system does help in some ways, but it's not required. And I think you have to not allow yourself to get caught up in any kind of sad story that, and I'm not saying you are, Cindy, but a lot of people think, well, if I only had this, then I would lose weight. Or because I don't have this, that makes it harder for me. It's like, no, the only thing that makes it harder is that you're not doing it. That's it. There are people all over the world that have zero support system. Kathy lost majority of her 80 pounds. Ken never changed how he ate, and he never worked out with her. He ate at Taco Bell most of the time. So it's not required. It really isn't. But I think there are ways to find things local. For people who love online stuff, I mean, it's like in the tribe, I mean, I just find some people in the tribe and just hey, let's have an accountability system. Y'all want to text? I mean, that often, it's just sometimes knowing that I'm going to post a selfie to you guys is enough accountability for me to run harder or lift heavier. It's all about how you think about it. And Cindy, take the accountability course. That accountability course talks about that mindset a lot. It's all about being self-accountable to you, and it's in the tribe. If you haven't done it, I would listen to it. And if you have questions, ask. Because it's all about changing your mindset over into, how do I hold myself accountable? And it talks a lot about commitment in there. Cassandra. Hey, Corinne, I plan my whole week and stick to my plan no matter what. I also plan my joy food, but I still feel guilty even if I indulge only a little, even though I planned it. How do you recommend dealing with guilt? My 30th birthday is the 30th, and I don't want to feel guilty for enjoying myself. PNP groupie can't wait to join in a couple of weeks as a birthday gift for myself. Well, that's awesome, Cassandra. Well, we talk a lot about that. In fact, when you... So I just got through reshooting the Joy Food videos for all of the people who are beginning on December 28th. So you're going to love it because I talk in there about the concept of planned joy as a part of the plan. You literally have to we're going to dig deeper into why you're choosing guilt. There's some kind of a fear base. Usually guilt masks a fear belief underneath guilt. Like, if I have this, surely I can't lose weight. there's something wrong with this, and we need to break those ties. We have to figure out what those thoughts are, and we have to rewire ourselves on that. But I think one of the biggest things is really just like, if nothing else, for your birthday, thinking about when I make plans, it is because these plans are what I know will lead to my weight loss for good, like my lifetime weight loss. Part of my lifetime weight loss is having cake and stuff on my birthday. And I'm going to create the plan that allows me to have that. What I put into that video was, I'm also going to create the plan for what it's going to feel like when that meal's over and it's time to get back to my normal planning. The more you just think about it. I know a lot of people are like, man, it's a lot of thinking. It's like, yeah, most of us aren't thinking enough. And all we do is think about how big our ass is. And that's a lot of thinking. So let's just like hang that thinking up and trade it off for something that's going to actually help us, right? So I want you to really think about the experience and how this is a stepping stone to long-term weight loss. Most of the time what happens is that when it comes to joy food, we don't think about it as a stepping stone to our long-term weight loss. We think about, oh, it's probably gonna make the scale go up. Oh, like those are the things that I am sure that are lurking beneath the surface that trigger guilt, trigger fear. So we'll work on that more, but I just want you focused on saying, I'm gonna really plan my birthday so that having joy, I can really experience joy. I can actually build the healthy relationship with these foods. And I can also know that this can be a part of my forever weight loss. I think just thinking about it like that will be helpful. And you'll have to tell me how it goes when you join. Let's see. Christy says, love this lady so much. Tons of emotional weight gone along with 60 pounds by accumulating those small wins along the way. Good for you, Christy. Lisa, I feel so lonely sometimes. I'm trying really hard to lean on myself and work out alone. Any advice on how to not depend on others? Lisa, it's just going to take practice. If you're in the habit of leaning on others and stuff, and you're really wanting to build your own like relationship with self, where you are your best friend, where you have your back, where you entertain yourself, where like there's nothing better than sitting around with my own thoughts. A lot of times we don't like being by ourselves when we have a lot of shitty thoughts. We'd rather be around other people who have lots of great thoughts and are saying great and funny things and entertaining us so that we don't have to listen to our inner dialogue. Think about how you are just practicing building that relationship with yourself. When you're alone, listen to what you say to yourself and start working on those things. And then it won't be such a chore. The other thing is you're just getting used to it. Like any new habit, any new thing that you form, when you first start, it feels like ass. It just does. And it's just going to take some time. Be willing to commit to it being uncomfortable before it gets comfortable. And just tell yourself that over and over again. I'm willing to be uncomfortable now because I know soon I will be comfortable spending time with myself. I will have practiced the skill of showing up for me even when I don't want to, even when it would be easier to lean on someone else. But I want to learn how to lean on me. And just know, just keep on in that range and it will take hold. But just know, like, it's normal for this not to feel right now. It's normal for this to feel crazy. Dawn, I started making myself drink a bottle of water every morning before I even touch my unsweetened iced tea. I think that's great. I think starting with all the small things, y'all, I cannot tell you how awesome it is to do that. Like, it just adds up. Let's see. Hey, Arusha. Susan, thank you, Corinne. How did you know I really needed this today? I've been feeling myself slip backwards and feeling shitty about myself. Thank you. You're so welcome, Susan. There's no, like, guys, when you feel shitty about yourself, just ask why. You'll come up with all the things you're doing that you're plugging. Like, if you feel like shit, it's because you've got some circumstances that are happening, like overeating, not making my plan, not drinking my water, all of those things, and you're plugging a thought in. When I say C, that's for my girls. All that means is, here's the facts. And then you're plugging a thought in that's like, here I am going backward, rather than, hey, those are some things I probably should work on. Easy thought switch, Susan. Easy thought switch. Angela, small changes are big. I lost 60 pounds just adding in small changes every week. PNP Tribe. She's one of my girls. Bravo to Angela. I'm telling you, I've got some big losers in there. This year, we set some records up in PNP on weight loss. I'm telling you. Somebody found me from the podcast. You're awesome. What is the website again? It's pnp411.com. That's where you can get my free course. I just started listening to your podcast. Thank you for your message. And Frank Talks. You're welcome. I tried the kombucha and loved it. Does it count as water? Small steps for me, just drinking my H2O. No, it doesn't count as water. You can count one a day as water. I drink one a day. I love my kombucha. But if you were drinking them all, I mean, you would be adding up a lot of like empty beverage calories, right? So drink one a day and that's fine. And you can drink that one and you can count that towards your water. But I wouldn't be like, oh, I love kombucha and I'm going to drink like 10 a day. Your tummy wouldn't feel so good either. Let's see. The Jeans podcast is the best. You all have to listen to it and take notes. Yeah, so I forgot about that. I actually put that webinar on the podcast. So if you go to phit.click/podcast, look for the Jeans episode. It was released last Thursday, I believe, which would be like somewhere in the second week of December. It's really good. It's all about how to lose weight during the holidays, not gain weight, that kind of stuff. Start there. It gives you some 3 basic tips that anybody can apply. Corinne, I see and hear you, girl. I have lost 14 pounds just listening to the podcast. Good for you, Caitlin. Your voice is always with me, says Becky. Podcasts and lessons in my earbuds while I shop. Also, I just completed Handling the Holidays Like a Boss. Thank you. So Handling the Holidays is one of the programs in our tribe. So I wrote that for them and for Thanksgiving because I was like, what do y'all want to know for the holidays? They're like, how to deal with all those difficult ass people we're fixing to see and not eat our way through it. So I built a program around it. Oh. Let's see. I think that's about it. Let's see. Ruth, I'm not a tribe member, but have taken so many notes and have downloaded all I can, and now have a binder that is so full that I have something to turn to all at any time. That is awesome. Yeah, Ruth, maybe you could share your notes. Patty, you may want to just message her, and maybe she could just send them to you or something. Ruth, you better watch out. Sometimes you might get about 100 requests after something like that. Ruth, if you're not hungry, that's not skipping a meal, right? If you're not hungry, it's not skipping a meal. But what I catch people do during the holidays is they skip meals because they want to save up for the big one. That I don't recommend. If you're not hungry, it's fine. Woo, she put her email in here. I won't read it out loud because this goes across the podcast, and then you would have like all 100,000 something people that listen be like, hey, Ruth. Hey, Leslie. You are not lapsed. Leslie, I'm going to whip your ass. You need to get on that coaching call. That's all I'm going to say. I think I gave you the business last Tuesday. Lisa, it's in my plan to stop second helpings. That's a good one. Drinking my water and exercising at least 30 minutes a day. I am on my second day with you. I love your advice. Awesome, Lisa. Just keep listening to the podcast. Ruth, how about some PNP t-shirts? I only do them inside the tribe. I run them every now and then. I have a girl that does like all of the workout pants that I wear. She actually does me a solid by designing shirts for us, and then she like ships them, has them manufactured. She uses really good quality material, but I don't sell them outside of the tribe. I just don't. I like to leave that as an exclusive thing for my members. But I like that y'all want them. Let's see. How do I change my thoughts? I have been struggling getting on track with eating and keeping commitments. I have lost weight a couple of times in the past, but I've gained it back. I know that I'm capable of doing what I set my mind to, but I'm afraid of failing or keeping it off long term. Lindsay, if you're not listening to the podcast, I would listen to the podcast. I was looking like there was a big list back there. We have several episodes on rewriting your past. We have several episodes on just how do you change how you think, like your belief systems. There's one called Fat Girl Thinking. I would go and listen to that one first. That's probably the one that I would start with, Lindsay. It's at, if you just go to fit.click/podcast or search in iTunes for losing 100 pounds with Fit and Fat, you'll be able to find it. I would use those. But the main thing is with your thoughts is you have to know which ones are shitty first. Then you have to come up with something that you can believe. Then every time you have a crappy one, you have to also say, I understand I think this sometimes, but now I'm choosing to think this. And you just have to keep doing it until your brain changes. It'll take a while. It's not easy. My tribe members, that's all we work on. I mean, everybody thinks it's all about like, a meal plan. It ain't about a meal plan. It's about figuring out how to get this thing, this brain of ours, to work for us rather than against us. Let's see. I had lost 16 pounds and lost my mom and stresses at work and home. Since September 1st, I've gained it all back, out of control. I'm trying to do the small steps back to get my life back on track. This is what I learned from you. So I'm starting with these 7 hours of sleep, 64 ounces of water, my vitamins. But on the vitamins, how to do them at night or morning or half and half. I want this so badly. Thank you for all your help. Joan, I'd probably just... For me, I can't take vitamins first thing in the morning. It tears my stomach up. I would take them with your breakfast and just form the habit of, I take my vitamins with my breakfast. If you have some that have to be taken at night, then I'm not allowed to eat until I take my vitamins, and then I eat. That I would put that trigger in so that you know that you were doing it. And then just the water and the sleep. And then, after a couple of weeks of doing that, start writing down everything you eat. No matter what it is, without without judgment and shame. Just write down what you eat. Then at the end of the day, ask yourself, is there anything on here I'm willing to change tomorrow? If so, what is it? And how am I going to do that? Do that. I mean, that's probably going to be just enough to get you right back into momentum. Here's the thing. You had some shit happen, right? Your mom died. And then what was the other thing? Stress at work. Mom died, stress at work. But you know how to lose 16 pounds also. This and this have nothing to do with each other. Stress and mom dying is one thing. 16 pounds is another. You can make it mean that all of this caused you to gain 16 pounds, or you can just be like, no, you know what? I'm somebody who knows how to lose 16 pounds. I'm also somebody that had these things that happened. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to being the person who knows how to lose 16 pounds. That's changing your mindset. That's looking at it different and not allowing, when life happens, to be the blame of why we gain weight. You gained weight because you chose to eat. We all have things happen, right? And a lot of times we choose to eat when those things happen. But when we take ownership that we made that choice, and that means that now we can make another choice. We don't have to wait to feel better to make that next choice. That's why it's important to separate those out. Cindy is working on Blame to Badass, which is another one of the programs, which it's funny that came up right after this, because that's what that program is all about, taking responsibility first so that you can start changing your life. How do I take the accountability class? All of the classes that my girls are talking about, like Blame to Badass, Holidays, Accountability, that's all in the membership. So if you're one of my tribe members, if you're working with me, then that's just stuff for you. The rest of the world, what you get is the pnp411.com. You can take the free course there, and you can listen to the podcast. The podcast has tons and tons of good information in it. Erica, how much working out do you do? I do jazzercise, but used to do boot camp. Is eating right and that enough? Yeah, I think it's plenty. Of course. I work out, it depends. Like right now, I have cut my workouts in half. I know probably half of my tribe members are like, because I love to work out now. I used to never work out, and I actually love it. But I have other things I need to get done. Like I've got a business to run. I've got a 15-year-old son that adores me and wants my attention at night. I have a husband that would like to see me not in front of a computer at night. And so I've rearranged all of my stuff to be able to, my thought process was, I still want to be able to get in a good workout every day. So when does that have to happen? That has to happen first thing in the morning, way early in the morning. And then I'm going to work all day. And then at night, when I'm done. And it's family time. So I wanted to get my life very simple. Workout, work, family. That's it. I don't have time for anything else. You don't see me going out to parties. You don't see me with a wild social life or anything like that. The 3 things that I knew had to be happening was I take care of my tribe, I got to take care of my ass, and I got to take care of my boys. It makes the rest of the world real easy to be like, I'd love to, but I've already got my plan scheduled. I've already got my calendar set. So now I work out super early in the morning, and I hit it. I set my watch. I got 48 minutes. I know that sounds crazy, but I do 20 minutes of some kind of warm-up cardio. I love to either walk, incline, or sometimes I run a little or whatever. I do about 20 minutes, and then that gives me 28 minutes to lift weights because I like to lift weights a little bit more than I like to do cardio. And so I just get after it. And right now, I don't even have a plan each day. I go into my gym, and I think, what will I like doing today? And that's what I do. Tomorrow, like on my schedule, like if I want, it can just be yoga. I actually moved my coffee table out of my living room and laid my yoga mat out so that my yoga sanctuary is there so that I have no excuses. Like, I don't care if anybody walks into my house and is like, why is your coffee table next to your fireplace? It's like, because my yoga sanctuary is right here. You got anything to say? Like, you ain't living here. I got to live here. So that's the way I'm doing it. And I have 2, I'm telling you, I'm all about constraining. I have 2 yoga things recorded on my phone from 3 years ago when I was in yoga teacher training. I don't even do my own yoga practice. I like both of those. It's the only 2 I ever do so that I don't have to think about what I'm going to do. I'm just like, I'm going to push play on one of them and I do yoga. And they're both right at 48, 50 minutes. That's it. Just keep it simple. How often do you weigh yourself? Daily, weekly, or monthly? It just depends. I used to only weigh like monthly, and that was because I would forget all the time. And then we had a while where we didn't even have a functional scale. Right now, I weigh, I would say about every 3 or 4 days. It just depends on when I remember, to be honest. I'm not like, and I don't weigh. My main thing is I have taught my tribe and myself how to get on the scale and say, okay, that number is just a reflection of the behaviors I have done. It is a reflection of my habits, not a reflection of me. Not oh or woo. Like I don't treat it like a jackpot. I don't treat it like a slot machine or anything like that. It is just a mechanism for me to look at the behaviors from the past few days and decide, are they working or not? You know, if the scale's up, then I'm like, okay, what have I been doing the last few days? There's probably some grab ass in the food. It's probably a little bit more wine than I need. There's probably something like that going on. So I make sure I take care of that shit. If it's trending down, then I'm like, okay, I'm probably being really mindful of my food. I'm probably doing these things right. I just look at my data. And I have my little range I like to stay in. I try to keep it really simple and really easy. Leanne, are the videos for the new group going to be available for existing tribe members to watch? Yeah, Leanne. So, like, as I'm updating stuff, like, if you go to PNP Tribe right now, a lot of the videos are already updated. I've been shooting and uploading as I'm changing things out. So you guys are going to get, I'm going to be kind of doing like an oral presentation of everything that's changed. The how to weigh in changed, Joy Food. Joy Food's already up. Joy Food was out last week, Leanne. So you've got all the Joy Food lessons, and I introduced it on our coaching call last week. So all that's already been uploaded. There's a couple of more that I'm changing out, just to fluff and buff. But yeah, don't worry about it. And then Leanne, for the month of January, the new tribe members are going to, they'll be in their usual beginner group and they're doing their thing. All of PNP Tribe, I even have dusted off a little bit of No BS 2. You guys will be doing the No BS weight loss program version 2, which is the deep cuts version. We're going to have you guys go through that together so that, and if you want to listen to any of the other ones, I'll make sure that we send an email out, Leanne, to all the tribe members of here are the lessons that changed. And then so that your private member podcast, it's going to be updated, which some of it is, but we'll update everything so everybody will have it and anybody can listen to any of that if they want. In fact, I need to make sure I tell Kathy all that stuff that I just said out loud. Let's see, I'm just looking for question marks at this point. What are your thoughts on green tea? Helpful? I think it tastes good. I don't think that there's any kind of tea or coffee or pill or shake that says, boom, weight loss. I don't even think that they're that much of a competitive edge. Drink it because you enjoy it. Do not sit there and think, if I drink this, this is going to help me lose all kinds of weight or whatever. That if green tea did that, we'd all be drinking green tea until we were green. Was an October groupie. Have been at my Weight Watcher goal weight for a year, but dropped an additional 15 pounds since I found you. Way to go, Michelle. This shit is no joke. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, do not worry, Susan. So Susan says, that's an idea. You should have every PNP member post their weight loss number for the year and get the total PNP weight loss for the year. I wonder what the number will be. I would love to know that number. I'll tell you what we are doing, though. On December the 30th, don't forget, we have our big 2018 super goal setting Zoom. So like, I will be coaching. I am going to take you guys through the exact process I go through when it comes to like getting my big ass goals. All tribe members, even the new ones, get invited. We're going to do it together. You guys will be doing it at home. I will be doing it, like leading it through you, answering questions and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be good. I talk to you guys about goal setting all the time, but we're going to like go through my process. And this is going to be our New Year's gift to us. We're not doing resolutions and stuff. Like, here's all the things I'm not going to do anymore. It's going to be like, here's what I'm going to fucking create in 2018. A thinner ass or whatever it is. We're going to set that, but we're going to go a way deeper. It ain't just going to be like what we're going to do. It's going to be like, here's how we're doing it. This is when we're doing it. Here's how we're going to track it. And this is when we're all checking in on each other's stuff. Tanya, tribe member. Hello, Tanya. I have lost 35 pounds since doing the free week and joining in October. I feel like all the courses were written specifically for me. That's awesome, Tanya. Thank you for saying that. Hey, Judith. Merry Christmas. If Chris came over and said, hey, he could see you. Let's see. How long is a PNP tribe group membership? It's month to month, Terry. So you join and then it's just month to month as long as you want to be in the tribe. I don't make people stay for any amount of time. Most people join and then they stick around for quite a while. A lot of these girls have been around for a long time. How do you distinguish between following the plan and forcing or being flexible? Well, it's all about planning. Like, whatever you plan, if you say, like, on Sunday, this is the plan that I know will work for me, that has built in everything that I'm committed to doing, and these are the things that I enjoy and whatnot, there's no forcing. You just do it. Now, there are times when you're tempted or whatever, but you get good at being aware of that. And it's not that here's the thing. People want to be flexible. It's like, what does flexible really mean? If you're saying, like, I planned carrots and I'm totally in the mood for celery, then have at that. That's the kind of flexibility I want. But if you're saying, well, I planned to have, let's say, healthy pizza for dinner, and then, I'm going to put my own toppings on, all this other stuff. And then you're like, well, but my friends invited me to go have Pizza Hut. A lot of people want to call that flexible. That's just called bullshit. That's called an excuse and wanting what you want when you want it rather than wanting your weight loss when you want it. And that's what I teach the difference between. How do you know when you've lost all the weight, like your new set point? Patty, you just get there. I know that sounds crazy, but most of my clients, the way I teach them is like, they start saying, I think I might be there. I'm very happy with the way my body is. I love the clothes. This lifestyle's easy. That's usually when we start, like, I just teach my people how to be like really into their body and how to feel good. And they really know when their life's clicking. And then that's when we know. How do you become a tribe member? You can go to pnptribe.com and get on the wait list. The wait list will be able to join on December 28th, and only the wait list members will be invited on the 28th, and they'll actually get a little bonus discount if they join on that day. Everybody else will be able to join after the 28th at regular price and all that kind of good stuff. Melanie's like, Bree's like, I'm all in, lifelong member. I love you, girl. I can't wait to see you at camp this year, by the way. Can you have a pause on the tribe membership? Or if you quit and want to re-enter, you need to pay the initial fee. I do not do pauses on the membership. So if you decide you want to leave, you just cancel. But if you do decide you want to come back, you come back at regular membership prices, and you do have to do the 30 days over again. Just because a lot of times when people leave, they've left for reasons, and they really need that 30 days of focused coaching again. So it's just my standard. How often do you oh, here's the other thing too. If you do become a member, guys, whatever price you come in at is your lifelong price. So like, if you leave, now you come back at normal prices. But a lot of the girls on here started with me back in the day, and they're what we call the tribal elders. And you know, I just don't raise prices on my tribe members. If once you're in, and that's your price. That's my husband and I agreed on that a long time ago. I've got people paying all kinds of things that I just have always felt like people that start with me, like I don't want to be that person who like raises prices on people that have joined. You know, when people join my tribe, they usually love it. They form relationships and they form bonds. And for some of our girls, this is the place that they, you know, it's the only people in the world that they actually talk to about a lot of things. And I don't want to be that person who like says, okay, this place you love, now it's going to cost you more money to stay. I don't want to do that. It just jacks around with people's relationships and stuff. And I'm not that person. So, Amanda, how often do you allow joy foods? We just redid the lesson. We do joy once a week. And so, but you get to enjoy the hell out of it. It's not a cheat day. It's not a cheat meal. It's not a binge. It's none of that stuff. We plan it. We look forward to it. But I also teach you how to change your mindset around the rest of the week. One of the things that people really notice when they're in the tribe is that we work on loving our life more. So we don't feel like we need joy food anymore in order to feel joyful. So there's that. The other thing is a lot of diets want you to just eat some bullshit and not like your food. I don't think that's good. I think we are meant to enjoy what we eat for a lot of reasons. And so I want to cultivate a healthy relationship with good foods where you're learning what works in your body, what's not working in your body, and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to leave on a high note with Bree's last post. I know I'm so excited because she's coming to camp, and I hadn't seen my baby. She's one of my baby tribe members. She's like, and when I say that, I mean she's like a little baby. Some of these girls, I feel like I've been raising them since they were like, knee high. But she's one of mine. And she says, it's not a weight loss program, it's a support system and family. And she has been a real support to a lot of our girls. She is loving and caring and so knowledgeable. And she and I both have some shared experiences and not always having the best moods. We weren't blessed with brains that love to feel amazing naturally all the time. So she has been a huge support to our girls on helping anyone that also has some of the similar things that that we've gone through. If you ever want to listen, if you're new to me and you don't know, I have had some issues with depression in the past. I have a whole podcast on it, on just how I deal with it and what I do, and just, changing your life despite it, that kind of stuff. All right. PNP411.com if you want the free course. PNPtribe.com. That's where you can get on the wait list. We are opening December 28th. It will be an amazing experience. My team is working hard as balls right now to get ready for this opening. We promise we'll do you right, and we will just be ourselves. Yes, I'm in the tribe all the time. And if you're not going to join and you just want to keep on listening, listen to the podcast. I'll be here every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, unless I send you an email that says different. But almost every Tuesday you can count on 5 o'clock, and we'll talk. You guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye, y'all.